can't be the only one that's confused by this. Y'all remember in Matthew 19 when Jesus was talking to the rich man and he said, it's easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. Man, when I heard this, especially when I was a kid, I took this verse literally because my interpretation was, if you're rich and greedy, then it's impossible for you to get into heaven. Like impossible. Because like it's impossible for a camel to fit through an eye of a needle. Like, are you serious? And why would Jesus pick a camel as an example? Like, why not a giraffe or an elephant? But after some study, of course, I learned that my interpretation of this was like way off. But there is a huge revelation in this verse. Like, watch this, watch this, watch this. The eye of the needle was a term that was used back in the day to describe a small doorway within a larger wooden gate, just like many of the gates entering Jerusalem. This is a picture of one, and as you can see, it's a normal sized doorway with a camel standing next to it. Here's the part that's awesome. Jesus wasn't telling the rich man, like, just because he has wealth, it would be impossible for him to enter the kingdom of God. No. For a camel to fit through this doorway or the eye of a needle, the man would have to separate himself as well as to take off the baggage that was on the camel. In essence, the man needed to separate himself from his attachment to money. Jesus was saying, in effect, young man, you need to disentangle yourself from your love of wealth in order to get into the kingdom. You cannot serve both God and money. Notice that all the man would have to do in order to get through the eye of the needle would be to dismount the camel, take off his belongings, and then enter in. And here's another awesome revelation. Are you ready? It wasn't impossible for the camel to fit through the eye of the needle. But in order to do so, it would have to duck down or possibly kneel to get through. Here's my point. But small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. You could still be rich and get into heaven, but it will take a softening of your heart in humility, kneeling to Christ's authority. In order to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to humble yourself before the Lord, making him first place in your life. Unfortunately, the man in the story wasn't willing to get off his high horse, for a lack of a better phrase. And he actually missed out on what his heart was really longing for. We know that money itself isn't bad, but the love of money is.